Even as police move physically against protesters, there is a giant financial hammer also being swung behind the scenes. What cost could leaders and supporters of the convoy soon face?
Their accounts can be frozen and their funds seized by banks. So this means things like paying those bills, paying potentially rent, any kind of day-to-day financial transactions could be stopped.
Even as Ottawa police warned today that protester vehicles may be seized, new Emergencies Act regulations require any financial services provider to effectively freeze property that belongs to a person who participates in the blockade. That could include thousands of people, but the action is likely to be most focused on the leaders who have access to funds, some of whom have repeatedly identified themselves on social media. The self-appointed spokespeople like Tamara Litch and BJ Lichter, James Bowder, who came to Ottawa to replace the federal government, former RCMP officer Daniel Bulford, and Pat King, who has railed against what he calls Canada's depopulation of white people. Already, many protesters suggest they've been targeted by financial measures, though there's no indication any banks have indeed yet started to lock accounts.
So that is the government, our Prime Minister, declaring his War Measures Act, the Desperate Measures Act, and freezing my account and many others.
The measures do expire when the Emergency Act ends, no more than 30 days, but banks could still choose to cut ties with individuals after that.
Do they want that person as a client? Because there could be huge risks for the bank. So they may just decide to shut the person's account down, and that person will have to find another bank or another system to deal with.
It is possible more than leaders could be targeted, potentially impacting mortgages and car loans and just about any payment or account with money or cryptocurrency.
A lot of the people who are attending this protest have family members, are paying bills, potentially paying child support. So they're not just going to affect the people who are being directly targeted by them, but some of the people on their periphery.
Beyond the potential to impact others, some worry this federal action will only entrench many protesters further.
This protest, to a certain extent, is spurred by this idea of government overreach. It could have the effect of sort of entrenching their ideas and their mindset.
And these are already the hardened, those who believe they are right. The cost of their actions could soon be a freeze of every aspect of their financial lives.
David, thousands of people have donated to the protest. Could they be affected by this?
They could, but it doesn't mean they will be. So the regulations themselves, Ian, are actually quite ambiguous. They're quite wide, but government officials have said they will interpret it, they will apply it to really target those key sources of funding. And they'll be looking at those who are spending the money that's out there to really try to sustain this protest, to keep it going. Those who have already donated, well, a lot of that money is being refunded, and the rest of it is pretty choked. So it's not really about the donors anymore.
All right, David, thank you.